If you've ever looked into budget PC gaming peripherals before, you've probably run into the brand Redragon at some point. They have several products on Amazon's best-selling list for PC accessories. I recently reviewed the Draconic K530 gaming keyboard and was honestly really impressed with its performance for the price. I was also a bit surprised at how popular that video was, and many of you have expressed interest in Redragon's gaming mice, which brings me to today's video. Insert the Redragon Storm M808. This is Redragon's entry into ultralight gaming mice and the lightest mouse in their entire lineup. The retail price is currently just $29.99 and it comes in either black or white. Keep in mind that there's also a wireless variant available, but we'll get to that in a later video. Full transparency, Redragon did send this out for review, but as you all should know by now, that won't affect my review in any way. Let's go ahead and get started. Inside the box you have the Redragon Storm M808 itself, a matte Redragon sticker, and the instruction manual. That's pretty much it for the contents of the box. The hardshell packaging did also include this plastic piece right here, probably for packaging purposes only, but I'm sure it could double as a dust cover or a transportation aid. Anyway, here's our first look at the Redragon M808. The first thing that sticks out to me about this mouse is its build quality. This thing is built like a tank. There's no creaking or any give as I press in on various points on the mouse. The construction here is on point. When it comes to the design language, I have to say I'm pretty content with this. The M808 has a very slight ergonomic shape and it looks really nice. The ergonomic hump is mild and I think gamers that prefer ambidextrous mice will also find it comfortable to use. The housing here definitely goes in line with all the other popular gaming mice with cutout holes. Supposedly these honeycomb cutouts help to reduce the weight of these gaming mice, but I think it's a gimmick. There's plenty of mice out there that don't have cutout holes and still manage to be really light. While the top and bottom of the mouse have a matte finish, the side panels of the mouse are glossy. They are contoured a bit, making the mouse easier to control and pick up. There's also honeycomb texturing built in, but I would say it's mostly for aesthetics, since they're not really all that grippy. The Redragon M808 has an overall length of 126.8mm, a width of 65.5mm, and a height of 41mm at its tallest point. It weighs in at a low 88 grams on my scale, although Redragon does list this mouse at 85 grams on their website. Definitely still a lightweight mouse, but nothing game changing. The Pulsefire Core by HyperX is comparable as it has the exact same sensor and weighs in at 87 grams. Though I should point out that it doesn't have nearly as cool a design, comfortable shape, or as much customizable lighting. Which brings me to my next point, the RGB. The RGB here is very tastefully executed. There are two acrylic diffusers that outline both sides of the mouse as well as each side of the scroll wheel. The lighting on the sides are diffused really well and it's really hard to make out individual LEDs. As a result, the RGB looks really smooth and the standard wave mode looks good right out of the box. There are a total of 7 different RGB modes that you can access and modify through the software. You can set the lighting to a solid color or use other common lighting effects like breathing or reactive. The customization here is fairly basic. You can change the colors, brightness, and the speed, and that's pretty much it. The only thing I would have liked to add here with the M808 is some RGB glow on the inside of the mouse, like you can see on the Glorious Model O and Model D. Other than that, I think the RGB is plenty bright and pretty incredible for a $30 mouse. And it's clear that Redragon thinks so too, as they've dedicated an entire button for cycling through the different RGB modes. Anyway, back to some of the more important specs of the M808. This mouse sports a Pixart PMW3327 sensor. If you're not familiar with Pixart, they supply sensors for gaming mice for pretty much all the major PC gaming brands. The PMW3327 in particular has a max DPI sensitivity of 12,400 and a tracking speed of 220 IPS. You won't get me lying to you, after changing the polling rate to 1000 Hz in the software, I really can't tell the difference between this sensor and that of a more expensive gaming mouse. I use this mouse in competitive games like Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone, and I didn't experience any stuttering, skipping, drifting, or any spinouts. It worked flawlessly. I honestly think that gaming sensors have come a long way. In my opinion, you don't really need the latest and greatest to be competitive. One of the biggest surprises for me is the quality of the switches on this mouse. The left and right mouse buttons are consistent, super crispy, and are rated for 20 million clicks. There's very little pre and post travel, and the overall feel is similar to name brand Omron switches that you can find on other high-end gaming mice like Glorious and Logitech. I also love the comfort grooves here, which feel a lot like those on the Razer Viper. The side buttons also perform really well. I like that side button 5 is textured, so you know exactly where you are when you're moving the mouse, and it provides for a little bit more control when you're pressing it in. Both buttons protrude just the right amount and are easy to actuate. They do have a little bit of play, but it hasn't impacted my gameplay at all. My only other gripe here is, though side button 5 does feel good, it sounds a little bit hollow. On that note, let's go ahead and do a quick sound test. While I do enjoy the left, right, and side buttons on the M808, I found the scroll wheel to be uninspiring to say the least. Tactility on the scroll wheel is a matter of preference, but I found the stepping on the M808 to be really weak and too light. When gaming, I have keys mapped to my scroll wheel, so I appreciate the confidence that you get with more tactile wheels. With the Razer Viper or Endgame Gear XM1, the stepping is rock solid and scrolling is very intentional. When you're clicking in your scroll wheel, you don't want any extra movement. On a positive note, I found the scroll wheel to be very grippy with no side play. It's definitely a solid scroll wheel for general usage, but be a little cautious if you utilize scroll wheels a lot during gameplay like I do. On the bottom of the mouse, you have a set of mouse feet that outline the front and rear ends. There's no mention of the mouse feet material on Redragon's website, but these are very smooth and definitely resemble PTFE, which is a good thing. As a result, the mouse glides really well, and I predict that it'll get even better with time as you break them in. Also on the bottom of the mouse is a mode switch button. You can customize lighting, keys, DPI settings, and macros on up to 5 different profiles in the software. The mode switch button allows you to seamlessly cycle through different profiles. Another highlight of this mouse is the no drag weave cable. The braiding has a nice balance. It isn't as tight as the glorious model series, and it isn't as loose as the first gen XM1. The material is light, smooth, and most importantly stays composed when making those big swipes during gaming, unlike the cables on some of these other wired gaming mice. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for the video. Overall, I think the Redragon Storm M808 is a great choice for an entry-level gaming mouse. It isn't without its flaws, but at $30, what mouse isn't? It still offers a great shape with solid construction, excellent switches, and beautiful RGB lighting. If you guys are interested in this mouse and would like to support the channel with your purchase, you can use my affiliate links in the description below, or use my code LilRicePuncher on Redragon's website to get 10% off. I'll also supply a link to the wireless variant, which I'll be reviewing in a later video. As always, if you have any questions at all or just want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, go ahead and drop a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button and support the channel by subscribing. I gotta go eat some rice. I'll catch you guys on the next one. This is Lil Rice Muncher Gaming, sign off. Thanks.